and gentlemen, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with a couple family members, friends, and colleagues. I appreciate the support. I wanted to talk a little bit and quickly about reading Dune Messiah, right? So I know a lot about Dune lore. I've seen the sci-fi series. Obviously, I've seen the first two Dune films that Denis Villeneuve has done. And also, we do know that Dune Part 3 is going to be releasing in December. And we know that this film is going to be covering the events of Dune Messiah, which is the second book that Frank Herbert wrote. And so after reading Messiah, obviously I did this as an exercise to stay sharp on the events that we could see unfold on screen, and also understand the words that are being written and really visualize what is being stated. Obviously, you're trying to be engrossed in the world of Dune, obviously what has been going on since Paul Atreides has become emperor. And so with doing that, it was a real fun read to me, and I used the format of audiobooking, right? It streamlines the process, makes things a lot quicker, and I'm doing that with more books. I'm doing the same thing with the Odyssey right now, but Dune Messiah was definitely a treat. Took about 8 to 9 hours, a couple days to get through it, but I had a great time with the book. Overall, I give the book an 8 out of 10, and this is the source material, right? This is the lore in the flesh. There's a lot of things that I noticed that were different from the sci-fi series and the book, obviously, a couple differences. And the same thing with Denis Villeneuve's work. Obviously, we know there have been some differences in even Book 1 Dune and in Dune Part 1 and Part 2. But we don't know what Denis Villeneuve is going to do for this third film until we actually see it. I know what I expect from Denis, obviously, and I know what is in the book. And so I'm excited overall to see what he can do with the book itself, and if he does make any changes and how close it will actually be to the book itself. I really do like how the book is written. It flows well. There's obviously certain excerpts of certain characters that you can follow through, so it makes the book extremely easy to read, especially if you already know and have background on these characters. Dune is definitely a story and a world that the more you know about it, the more you appreciate the different adaptations of it. And so this made me even more excited to see the film, to see what Denis Villeneuve carries over from the book itself. And we already know he has a lot of respect for the source material. We may have talked about Chani's role in general. Obviously, if you're aware of the Dune books, and if you've seen the sci-fi series, you know that Chani, played by Zendaya, right? Her character is, in the books, she's more, I guess, accepting of Paul's role, right? Pretty much willing to do whatever Paul needs, and she supports him 100%. Where in the film, she's more resistant, right? She's always cynical, and she doesn't really believe in the whole, I guess you could say, Muad'Dib, Messiah, essentially the hero, right? This guy that's supposed to come down from another planet has this royal power, and he's supposed to be the man that saves the Fremen people, right, on Arrakis, right? He's not supposed to be the one, as you'd say, in the Matrix, right? And she's always been resistant to that in the films, and that is one of the differences that Denis has taken with, I guess you could say, the story when it comes to her character overall. And there's a couple other differences with Chani as well. Exciting news that not many people may know, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but at this point in time, if you've seen the posters, you obviously know that Jason Momoa is back as Duncan Idaho. And we talked about him not really being Duncan Idaho. He is a Gula, right? And I didn't use that term in the video when I was breaking down the trailer because I wasn't trying to give away much, right? And so he's built within the spirit of Duncan Idaho, right? You could say he has Duncan Idaho's body and maybe even his consciousness, but the TRLXU has recreated Duncan Idaho to use him as a tool. And so you see a lot of details within the book around his character, him regaining his sense of purpose and why he's really here. And so I thought that was very interesting. I want to see how Denis tackles that in the film. Obviously, if you look at the appearance of Duncan Idaho, or Jason Momoa's character, his appearance directly pulls from the book. So I think Denis is on point with that. You have characters like Edric and Saitel, who are huge characters in the book and huge characters in this portion of the story. Another reason that I'm excited for this film, because I believe this is the film that could be the best film. I feel like this is the political drama that you want to see in the world of Dune. This is the epic conclusion, as Denis states. Once again, if you're not aware of the lore, or if you have not read the books, or if you just don't know much about Dune, based off what you may hear other people say, they may say, oh, how is he going to be able to do this? How is he going to make it exciting as part two in particular? There's some people that didn't really care for part one, but how is he going to make it as exciting as part two? And I'm here to tell you, the more you know, the more excited that you will be while you are actually watching part three, because I believe this one is the meat and potatoes of the story when it comes to Paul Atreides' journey, right? And so we kind of talked about Duncan Idaho there. He is hate in this story, right? Once again, trying to keep the spoilers to a minimum. You have Stilgar's perception of everything. Obviously, Paul Atreides, Chani, we talked about this. We talked about Alia, who's going to be played by Anya Taylor-Joy, and her impact on the story. You have conversations between her and Hate. You have conversations between Paul Atreides and Hate. Obviously, this is his old friend, Duncan Idaho, that did serve the Atreides family at one point, right? I talked about Edric and Scytale, the conspiring amongst them, the Guild, the Terralexu, all these characters that come together to make this great story. There's a couple other ones that I may be forgetting about here and there, but like I said, I'm not trying to tell everybody everything. I will say, though, Dune Messiah, definitely worth the read. Like I said, it's one of those things where I added it to my Rolodex of Dune knowledge. I know about over 30,000 years of Dune lore. I said I've seen that sci-fi series there. I know what I've pulled from the lore, my perception of things regarding Dune and what we've seen from Denis up until this point, obviously knowing about the first book and the second book and the third book, right? And now I've actually read Dune Messiah all the way through. So it's three dimensions there on top of the film that's coming out in December. So definitely exciting times, ladies and gents. If you didn't watch my video on that trailer review, go ahead and watch that. I really did like that video. The trailer, in my opinion, is probably the best trailer I've seen all year for any film that's going to be coming out in the fall. The Odyssey is a film that I'm excited for in my top 5, obviously, but I feel like if you're comparing teaser to teaser, the Dune Messiah trailer, or the Dune Part 3 trailer, definitely trumps the Odyssey teaser trailer. I haven't seen too much more regarding the Odyssey because I'm obviously trying to duck information while I'm reading the book at this point in time as well. And I have about 8 books left. I'm about, I want to say 75% of the way through the Odyssey, so that's exciting as well. But overall, if you're looking at both teasers and what they've been able to present to me, I feel like Dune Part 3 teaser by far is the better trailer, and that's just the teaser, ladies and gents. So, as you know, if you've been listening to me for quite a while, you know I try to not watch too many trailers. They tend to give away too much about the films, and I feel like that Dune trailer, that showed me enough of what I need to know. I know what to expect from this film at this point in time, obviously with Denis being the guy for this trilogy, and he's been doing these films since 2021. You know what to expect. It's like a 007 film at this point in time. There were a couple other things in there in that trailer that I did like that were connected with the book, I believe, like the stone burner. That's going to be very interesting. I believe there was a scene in the trailer that depicted that incident there. And so, yeah, a lot of cool things to come up, ladies and gents. That's where I'm going to leave it right now. This was kind of a quick review of Dune Messiah. Obviously, I might do another video on Dune Messiah, but this isn't really a book review channel. But it's something that I'm excited about enough to probably delve into, and maybe it's something that I talk about after the film comes out, and I might do maybe even a 20 to 30 minute video just on Dune Messiah. And maybe I'll even go into Children of Dune as well, and that would be officially the third book in Frank Herbert's trilogy as far as Paul Atreides, I guess you could say, timeline has anything to do with. But we'll get there when we get there, ladies and gents. With that being said, let me know if you liked this video. Are you excited for Dune Part 3? What do you expect from it? Have you read the Dune books? What do you think about them? And how do you think Denis has done overall? What are your expectations? I have high expectations. And based off what I've seen so far, I think Denis Villeneuve is going to deliver. I can't wait to see his perspective and his changes in this adaptation for the epic conclusion of his Dune trilogy. I think he's put together the best work for Dune when it comes to live adaptations in a theater format, and so I'm excited for it. But I want to know your thoughts, ladies and gents. Please subscribe to the channel, follow anything that I'm posting, and engage with it as well. I want to hear everybody's thoughts so we can get dialogue. Definitely like to hear from people and their perspectives. It helps out the community overall. Share this video, please. Be safe. It's Neff signing off.